So, you see ghosts.
Sometimes.
Before we go any further, are there any here?
No, I think we're good.
Plaintiff Johnny Parati claims his former friend offered him an all-expenses-paid trip to L.A. But he's the clown who wound up paying all the expenses. He's suing for $1,528. Defendant Peter John Robert claims the plaintiff added thousands in unexpected charges to their trip. He says he owes the plaintiff nothing.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. This is case number 014 on the docket, Parati versus Robert.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge.
Welcome to both of you. We have the plaintiff, Johnny Parati, and you are suing your friend, Peter John Robert. They call you PJ?
Correct.
Okay. You're suing him for $1,528 for unpaid trip expenses. Okay, go ahead.
I met PJ about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We were on a paranormal show together that's
On a
online.
paranormal show?
Paranormal show.
Oh,
It's called
okay.
Paranormal Crossroads Live. Basically, we go into haunted locations. We investigate ghosts, and it's live and interactive. You could actually type into us if you want us to ask an EVP question or tell us where to go or things of that nature.
So you see ghosts.
Sometimes.
Before we go any further, are there any here?
No, I think we're good.
We're good, okay.
So basically, we have similar personalities. We hit it off real quick and
Hey.
became really close friends. I was in a movie called Clown Motel. I was cast in that as Hammy, one of the main killer clowns in the movie. I actually submitted a trailer to you guys for the
Yeah,
movie as well.
oh, I'd love to see that.
Hello?
It's not adding up. We're the only ones here.
Then who's outside to do this?
If you want to make it, just say that one of us is in there. They're everywhere.
This is what's suing me.
You need a bigger hat.
Yeah, that's what they chose for me. So basically, there was a DVD release party that was going on in Los Angeles.
Yes.
He's from Buffalo, New York. I'm from Rochester, New York.
Oh, okay.
So they were doing the party. I had already went out for the premiere, the regular Hollywood premiere, all of that. So I'd already been out there. I wasn't going to go to the DVD release.
Yeah.
I did not have the money to go at the time.
So you're saying that he talked you into going?
Yeah, he offered to pay for the entire trip in exchange for being able to go with me. His main purpose was we're going to be doing a sequel that actually
I see.
pretty
That
soon,
was-
and he wanted a part in that and to network with different people that were involved in the film that would be at this party. So basically, he agreed to pay for the flight, everything, the rental car, gas, food,
For the whole trip?
the whole trip, because I wasn't going to be going at all. I mean, I made it clear to Joe in the last
How
evidence I
long
wasn't
was
coming.
this trip going to go for?
Three or 4 days.
So when you thought he was going to pay for the whole trip, that would include not just the plane fare, but for the hotels, for the meals. You guys are going to go out drinking or whatever.
Yeah, basically they had planned
And you
the way
guys
the
are going
party
to have
was.
meals, and you're going to have more meals.
Well, most of it, yeah, we definitely like to eat. The party was going to be at a mansion in Hacienda Heights where they were throwing the party, and we were actually going to be staying in a room in the mansion for 2 of the 3 nights, and there would be food and everything there.
Now, let me hear from you, PJ.
Like you said, we did meet 2 years ago, and him and I hit it off. We have a lot of common interests, and we're very similar. He did have a big break with a movie, and I was like very proud of him. I thought, this is awesome. And he tells me, I don't have money to cover it. I can't go. I'm like, this is a movie release party. This is it for you, man. Like, you need to be there.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'll pay, and I'll get the airline tickets. And I agreed to pay for the tickets, and then all of a sudden, a couple days go by, and he's like, oh, well, I paid for upgrades, and I didn't even know about these upgrades. And then I figured since I covered that, he said, oh, well, the producers got this mansion that we're going to be staying at, all the other actors are staying at it, so I never saw any kind of bill. And he's like, well, I figured it was going to be comped because I thought it was a party, and I thought he invited everybody to this place that they rented, but I was unaware that I was paying for a mansion to stay in as well.
There was no written contract about who would pay for what.
Right,
I
so
assume, is that right?
There
Written-
was written messages back and forth, but at the end of this, he had blocked me on Facebook, so it deletes all of the messages between us.
And you're disagreeing with that.
Part of this trip was also we were looking to start our own show. Then we came into let's start a production company. He thinks he's De Niro all of a sudden. So him and I had a clash on the show and this whole production thing. So him and I had a falling out. I blocked him, so everything was erased that we communicated with about a year
Got
prior.
it. But this all came after the trip that we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said, or are you saying that you agreed to pay for the plane tickets?
Yes.
Did you in fact pay for the plane tickets?
I gave him money in Rochester. We went to go to a shooting range, and there's no banks around, so I went to an ATM and took money out to give to
You
him.
decided to go to the shooting range before you went to the bank.
No, that was after.
Was this for practice? What?
I
what
bought
were you?
I bought some firearms off of him also. So.
Oh.
The deal was, he was supposed to give me $350 in cash when we met, and $350 in cash when the trip was over, because he didn't have the cash.
And that
on
would
him.
make $700 for the 2 tickets.
But what happened was when we met, he said he only had $200 cash on him, and he gave me $200 cash. That was it.
But yeah, so it's $350 a flight, and then for the upgrade,
Yeah, which I told him it wasn't an upgrade, but the way JetBlue works, you have to pay to pick your seat. If you don't pick, they put you wherever. If we pick our seats, at least we know it's that there's no first class in these. That was the first row of the plane.
I mean, if you're gonna pick seats, why pick seats like you're like this?
That's the biggest seats they had. That's
Oh.
the first row.
All right, so I have here N. These are the charges: airport parking, the mansion room 309, the flights 503. I guess that reflects the fact that he already paid you 200 for it.
Yep, I deducted
Okay.
200 off the total. If I had one of my own, by myself, the director would have picked me up. I would have stayed where I went for free. I wouldn't have had to drive anywhere in LA because he would have brought me wherever I had to go. We only had to rent a car because he wanted me to show him around LA. I said, let's go to where the O.J. Simpson murder case was.
Oh,
Check it out. I took him to where Sharon Tate was murdered for the Manson family to see the area. And I
okay, so
drove him
here's
to
what
all
I
these
get from you
places.
guys so far. You are fascinated by the paranormal and ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
You buy guns and love going to murder scenes.
Right.
Did you believe that you were going to wind up paying for the whole thing?
No.
And when you saw how much all this was costing, why did you believe that he would pay for half of it?
It's not that I thought he was paying for half. I thought that that mansion that we were staying at the entire time was going to be comped because he was an actor in that film.
When we got back from that, he went on my Facebook through my friends, friend requested almost every single person who was Hollywood involved. You could see he had requested the effects artist. Hey PJ, what's up? Thanks for sending me the friend request. Do we have mutual friends? Hi Joe, yes, my friend Johnny who played Hammy. So he's networking with all the people from Hollywood off of my page, basically using my networking for himself. And that's why he agreed to pay and go there.
Here's what I think listening to both of you. It's clear he was the one that suggested you ought to be making this trip, etc. You made it clear that you couldn't really afford it, but you had also opportunities to realize that he wasn't going to be able to pay for it no matter what was said initially.
He admits to owing me more of the money that he was supposed to pay.
Do you admit that you did say that you were going to pay for it? I mean,
There were
yeah,
there
this
were
is-
definitely expenses that weren't talked over. It was, like I said, this was a big thing for both of us. I've always wanted to go to California, not even so much for the acting, but it wasn't really a well thought out trip.
I would have never went on this trip. I made it very clear to the director I was not coming.
I will leave it up to you if you guys get to be back to be friends and it winds up costing you more than you intended. But this was your idea, and I think you just got to suck it up. By fine for the plaintiff in the sum of $1,528.
Appreciate it.
I can understand everything wasn't really panned out and talked over beforehand, but it is what it is. I get it.
I don't think PJ was being selfish necessarily. I mean, in that industry, you kind of have to make your own, you got to put yourself out there.
I feel like him and I have been talking a lot lately, so hopefully we can work things out and patch up our friendship. Yes.